Monday Night Chat with Wong Chen.
Brought to you by the Member of Parliament for Subang.
Hi, welcome to Monday Night Chat episode 11. We've got Policy Monday, and as usual, we've got the Q&A in 120 seconds. For Policy Monday, we're going to discuss fiscal cost of smoking in Malaysia. We just completed a paper, so this is really quite interesting and groundbreaking for us. And then we'll do the simple 5 questions as usual. Okay, welcome to Policy Monday. This week we're going to talk about the fiscal cost of smoking or the economic cost of smoking. This is a paper that we started working on about 3 months ago. It started from 2 separate meetings. The first meeting was by Japan Tobacco Industry. They came to see me to lobby members of parliament about the problem of illicit cigarette smuggling and wanting us to take a position on that and in fact arguing that the excise duty tax is not working. Yeah. Second meeting was about 2 weeks later after the JTI executives came to see me, was a meeting with Her Royal Highness Princess Dina Mired of Jordan. She has just become the president-elect for the Union for International Cancer Control, or UICC. It turns out that of course she's very charming and everything, but it turns out that she is an alumni of University of Warwick like me. So we talked about the old university. She's my senior by 3-4 years. We talked about the time we had there, so we actually bonded quite well. And at the end of that 2.5-hour meeting, I promised her that I would do the maths and try and calculate what is the fiscal cost, the cost to the government from smoking. So this is the paper. This paper will be published quite soon, probably in about 2 weeks' time. It's going through a final review by expert panels who are now in KL for the World Cancer Summit. So we had a review today. We're shooting this, by the way, on Wednesday because I'm off to Kota Baru and then later to Norway. But we had a meeting with one of the senior economists on the issue of this, and she liked it a lot and she approved it. So, but we're still getting to get one more review later. But let's just give you the gist of the finding. Now, we know that there's excise duty on cigarettes because cigarettes is considered a sin. So this is excise duties are basically sin tax. The tax that we impose on tobacco, or tobacco smoking in particular, is basically roughly about 4.15 billion a year. Yeah? And this is for the 2018 estimate. Now the simple question we all wanted to know, which is why we wrote this paper, is what is the direct cost and the indirect cost of smoking to the government? Now, direct cost is basically the healthcare cost to treat smoking-related cancer treatment or smoking-related illnesses such as, lung cancer, breathing problems and stuff like that. So we wanted to know what is the actual cost that the government is doing. Remember, 4.15 billion is what we tax them. What is the cost that we share, the burden that we share? Malaysia is famously known for having zero or very bad data. We had to trawl through the entire thing. Dina spent months trying to get this. We found 2 articles that says in passing what is the percentage, and we calculated both. They're very far apart, but mathematically after crunching the thing, we now know that the cancer cost for treatment for cancer is basically 3.72 billion of our public hospital bills. That doesn't include private. Yeah, so we collect 4.15 billion of tax from tobacco smoking. We then spend 3.72 billion on our hospital to treat these related illnesses. But this is the direct cost only. The indirect cost is the cost to loss of productivity of workers. And that means a loss to personal income tax, a loss to corporate tax, and a loss to consumption tax. So what we did was we created quite complicated models, but we essentially gathered all the big data points that we want, did the formula. I tested this out with my in-house economist, and we liked both numbers. Of course, we've been punching up and down the best formula for this. But generally, I'll just give you the results so that you can, I don't bore you too much with all the maths. But basically, we found out that the smoking has an indirect cost on personal income tax to the tune of 407 million. For corporate tax losses due to tobacco smoking is 968 million. And for the loss of consumption tax is 504.2 million. All three added in comes up to a net total of 1.88 billion. So the direct cost is 3.72 billion. The indirect cost is 1.88 billion. So the combined fiscal loss to the government is in fact 5.6 billion. So again, 4.15 billion is what we collect from the tobacco companies and consumers. What we spend on treating health plus all the losses in productivity amounts to the government, losses to the government, 5.6 billion. So basically, there is a shortfall of 1.45 billion in the revenue we collect, and therefore we are technically subsidizing smoking. So this calls for a review on the tax structure to try to at least adjust to the balance. What we recommend in this paper is a bit more nuanced. I come from a corporate background, so I do understand, even though I don't support them, I do understand where the tobacco industries are coming from. They want certainty, they don't want these hikes to go up too fast. So what we recommend is a 7-year, 2% increase per annum for 7 years to bring up the tax rate to 66% of the retail price of cigarettes. At the moment, it's only 52%. Why we choose 66% is quite simple. While the WHO recommends that we go it up to 75%, 66% in our opinion is what Singapore has been using for quite some time. And Malaysia, culturally almost like Singapore uses 66%, then they finally bumped it up another 10% lately. But I recommend for a 7-year period, certainty for the corporations, fairness to the consumers, and also for the health advocates like ourselves. For 7 years, bring it up to 66%. By the year 2025, the tax rate will be at 66%. Hopefully we reach the part where we go to Singapore. And then in the year 2026, we give the killer blow or the end game to tobacco smoking by putting it up straight away by another 9% to 75%, as recommended by the WHO FCTC. Yeah. So that's it for the tobacco smoking thing. When the paper's out, please download, please go through it. We're very proud of this particular work. So I just want to thank Dina for her efforts and also the other interns and staff that contributed towards it. That's it for Policy Monday. Welcome to Q&A this week in 120 seconds. We're going to run this very quickly. Okay, so I've got my watch here. I'm going to start now. First question. World Cancer Summit, what was I doing there? As I said earlier at Policy Monday, I was invited by the Princess Mirit to come to the opening ceremony, opening session. Learned a few speeches, heard a few speeches, had meetings with interesting cancer fighters, advocates. Fantastic. I mean, I really enjoyed myself. I was really touched by the speech by the WHO representative, another princess but from South Africa. Question number two, what am I doing in Norway? When you watch this video, I will actually be in Oslo, just arrived from KL. I'm there for 4 or 5 days to attend Parliament in Norway. I have a lot of meetings set up, and then I got to also brief the Norwegian Foreign Office on issues related to China, to ASEAN, to free trade. So I have a working holiday, well, not really holiday, I get about 1.5 day off in my visit. And my wife has been invited by University of Oslo to give a speech on, I don't know, I got to ask her. So that's why I'm in Norway. Number 3, Rosmah, arrested. Well, only reaction to say is, finally, I think it's about time that this happened, and it's going to, hopefully bring some justice to the issue of 1MDB. Number 4, Michelle Yeoh shooting the $1 billion whale. I'm not a fan of Michelle Yeoh last time, and I'm not going to be a fan in the future. People say she's opportunistic. Well, it's all reported out there. I have nothing much else to say. Number 5, the last question on the new appointment of the new mayor, Datuk Noor Hisham. I know Datuk Noor Hisham. YB Hannah and I worked very closely with him when he was the mayor for Subang Jaya. Despite running a 300 million budget in Subang Jaya, this is an honest, decent, low-profile man that wore a $45 Casio plastic watch. That's it for Q&A this week.